Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your SmackDown results and 205 Live. Spoilers. It's not spoiled by now. And your Mixed Match Challenge results. But first off, we got birthdays. WWE Performance Center Assistant Head Coach Sarah Amato turned 38 years old, while former WCW star Ice Train turned 51. New Japan Pro Wrestling legend Hiroshi Tanahashi turned 42. And by the way, Sarah Amato also wrestled as Sarah Del Rey. Sunil Singh turned 34. Eddie Guerrero died of a heart failure on November 13, 2005 at the age of 38. Rufus R. Jones. Kerry Lloyd also died of a heart attack on November 13, 1993 at the age of 60. Dark main events advertised from SmackDown tapings were AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, and Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton, The Miz, and Shinsuke Nakamura, and Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Probably that match will be removed because of the injury to Becky Lynch. On SmackDown Live, Daniel Bryan defeated AJ Styles to win the WWE Championship and turned heel in the process. Bryan attacked Styles after the match and is now scheduled to face Brock Lesnar at the Survivor Series in a champion versus champion match this Sunday. During the most recent edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer talked about the title change and Bryan's heel turn and said that Bryan had been pushing to turn heel. Bryan came up with the idea of turning heel several weeks ago, and Vince McMahon decided to go ahead with the turn on the day of the show. Dave further noted that Bryan defeated Styles for the championship was decided last weekend. Meltzer mentioned that Vince wanted to get maximum impact with the change in plans and decided to do the title change and the heel turn on the same night. Dave also speculated that while Bryan winning the title was decided before Becky Lynch's injury, the injury might have influenced Vince. The decision to turn Bryan heel and make it the biggest talking point heading into Survivor Series itself. Bryan has talked for years about Lesnar being a dream match for him. Bryan and Lesnar were at one point scheduled to face each other at SummerSlam 2014, when Bryan was the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. However, Bryan was forced to vacate the title due to a neck injury. Lesnar went on to defeat Cena for the title at the show. In a 2015 interview with The National, Bryan said that Lesnar was his number one dream match. My number one dream match is Brock Lesnar, Bryan told The National 3 years ago, and I want that to be a WrestleMania match. I don't know if WWE will ever let that happen because they might be afraid he might legitimately hurt me pretty bad. But I would like to do a major pay-per-view match with Cesaro. I'd like to do a major pay-per-view match with Seth Rollins. I'd love to do a major pay-per-view match with Stardust, who's not with the company. Won't be with the company back until January, is my prediction. We have so many talented people on the roster that I'd love to have a match on a pay-per-view, or we have a story to work through together. Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey versus SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch. Comments also by Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that he has confirmed that the match has been pulled off of Sunday's Survivor Series pay-per-view. As noted, Fightful reported that the match is being pulled due to Becky suffering a reported concussion and broken nose during the Raw Invasion angle, apparently at the hands of Nia Jax. She was checked out by doctors after Raw went off the air and did not immediately travel to St. Louis with the rest of the Blue Brand crew. There's no word yet on what WWE has planned for Rousey on Sunday, but they did announce it on SmackDown itself, as you will hear in the results. Becky's actual injury has not been confirmed yet, but Meltzer noted that she is not currently cleared to wrestle. WWE should address the situation on SmackDown episode, which they did address it, but due to injury, they haven't stripped her of the title like they did Daniel Bryan or Finn Balor when they had the injury. This video link is the video of where Jax's stiff arm shot to Becky busted her open. It was reported up by Fightful that there is some heat on Jax for the injury. Luke Harper has also been written off TV since Eric Rowan went down with biceps tear during the SmackDown Tag Team title defense at SummerSlam this past August. They dropped the tag team titles 2 days later to the New Day on SmackDown Live. Harper has not appeared on TV since then, although he lost to North American champion Ricochet at a few NXT house shows back in September also, as they sent him back to NXT. And a comment at WWE NXT at hashtag NXT Live. Anything can happen at Luke Harper WWE hashtag NXT Buffalo. Harper appeared to have caught the injury bug as well. At this link, that's how he appeared at Brad Williams' stand-up show with a cast on his left hand, which can be seen in that link. And Brad Williams also commented on Twitter at Funny Brad, when at Sal Volcano and at Luke Harper WWE stopped by your show. Every fetish is covered. It's not known how Harper was injured or when he will return to the ring. There were reports that WWE was looking to reunite Harper with Bray Wyatt, who has not appeared on WWE TV since Matt Hardy transitioned to a producer role in early August. But Matt has returned to wrestling recently as well. Harper stars on the show on USA Network called Damnation at this link. JJ contributed to that article. Hall of Famer Ric Flair was backstage at SmackDown in St. Louis. Nature Boy was there to film a feature Table for 3 episode for the WWE Network. According to PW Insider, Flair was joined by Hall of Famers Harley Race and Bob Orton for the filming. At Comic Book Now, they had an article on there. You can win a Meet the Miz and Becky Lynch contest, but it was removed. I seen a video. I couldn't copy it from the video, and I went to their Twitter account, and it's not there. John Cena appears as a boy band member in this link with the new Sky Blue vodka ad. WWE take the following matches for 205 Live episode, airing normally on Wednesday nights on the WWE Network. Jack Gallagher and Drew Gulak defeated Akira Tozawa and the Bryan Kendrick. I guess he dropped the character and just going as Bryan Kendrick now, because that's what all the report says, Bryan Kendrick. Kalisto and Lynch Dorado defeated 2 enhancement talents, unknown name. They didn't announce the names from the report. And Cedric Alexander defeated Leo Rush. Yeah, you know, Bobby Lashley's squawk guy. Lashley! 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 Yeah, you know. The Survivor Series Go Home Edition of SmackDown opened up from the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri. Tom Phillips welcomes us to the show. He's joined in by Corey Grace and Byron Saxon. Now to go right to the video package with highlights from the Invasion on Raw, which saw SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch lead the Blue Brand Women's Division in a beatdown on the Red Brand Women's Division. Tom announced that Becky suffered a broken face and a concussion during the brawl. She will not be able to face Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series on Sunday. Fan chant for Becky. They show us a replay of Nia Jax causing the injury on Raw. Graves says it was a severe concussion that Becky suffered. Tom says Rousey's new opponent will be named later on in the evening. We go to the ring. Out comes WWE Champion AJ Styles. Tom hypes Sunday's match with the Universal Champion Brock Lesnar. Styles hits the ring and the fans chant his name. He talks about 2017 match with Lesnar and what he's done in the year since. He got them all but Lesnar. Styles says that will be different on Sunday as he plans to do more than just survive. AJ suddenly pauses and turns his attention to the timekeeper's area. Paul Heyman coming through the crowd. AJ says to let Heyman speak. Heyman takes the mic and does his usual grand introductions for the Beast. Styles says he came to SmackDown with all due respect because on Raw last night he told everyone that there's no one his client wants to face on Sunday more than AJ. Because when you mention WWE Hall of Famers like Ricky Steamboat, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, you mention AJ Styles. Heyman says Styles is just this close to being as good as number one, Daniel Bryan. Heyman says we're never going to get to see Lesnar versus Bryan. Heyman doesn't want to insinuate that Styles is the consolation prize. Heyman wants everyone to know how special it will be for him when he has a front row seat to see his client step in the ring with the second greatest in-ring performer in WWE history. AJ Styles knows Heyman is trying to get under his skin. AJ has nothing but respect for Bryan, but he did make him tap out. AJ says Lesnar leapt away from their match last year, and that's how that shows he's vulnerable. AJ has gotten better for 371 days. That runs the camp, the phenomenal one. The music interrupts and out comes Bryan. Bryan says he's not even sure why they're talking about him. He goes on and says if AJ mentions his name again, one more time without reason, he will punch AJ in the face. Bryan thanks AJ, tells him good night, and drops the mic to leave. AJ says Heyman brought up Bryan's name, not him. AJ thought they hugged everything out, and we're all good, but Bryan seems upset still. AJ goes on and says Bryan's name again. Bryan rocks him in the mouth, and they start brawling on the mat. SmackDown Commissioner Shane McMahon runs out with referees and producers to break up the fight. The fight finally broke up, and they stare each other down. And the action can be seen at this link. Still to come segment, The Bar and The Big Show versus New Day. We go to commercial. Back for the break. Another backstage brawl breaks out between Styles and Bryan in Shane's office. Officials are in to break it up. Shane announces Bryan versus Styles for your main event, and the title will be on the line. Andrade Cien Almas versus Jeff Hardy. Go to that link for the action. We go right to the ring. Out comes Andrade Cien Almas with the returning Zelina Vega from her couple-week injury. Jeff Hardy was out next. Bell rings and Almas immediately attacks with a boot. He keeps control and takes Hardy to the corner, beating him down as Vega cheers him on. Hardy turns around and hits a jawbreaker. Almas gets some offense in and poses on the ropes with Vega. Hardy comes right back and kicks Almas out of the ring. We got a commercial with Almas on the floor. Back to the break. Hardy covers for a close 2 count. More back and forth. Between the two, Hardy gets turned upside down in the corner. Almas goes to the top for the double stomp. To the chest for a close 2 count. Almas wastes some time, but charges into the corner with a double knees to the face. Almas with more offense and another pin attempt. Almas blocks the twist of fate and drops Hardy with a big back elbow. Hardy kicks out just in time as Vega screams at ringside. Hardy fights off the hammerlock DDT. Hardy hits a twist of fate and goes up top. Hardy nails a swanton bomb for the pin to win. After the match, Hardy stands tall as the music plays, and we go to replays. We see The Miz and SmackDown General Manager Paige backstage watching the match. Paige confirms Daniel Bryan is no longer on Team SmackDown at Survivor Series, so Miz is now the sole team captain. Miz names Hardy to replace Bryan on Team SmackDown. We see Rey Mysterio and Samoa Joe in the office now, standing behind him. Miz says Rey is off the team because he was Bryan's pick, and they need to get Bryan's stench off the team. Paige says that's enough, and Miz may be captain, but she's the general manager. Paige says Miz has to beat Rey if he wants him off the team. Rey is looking forward to beating up Miz. Paige says that match is next. We go back to commercial. And Samoa Joe was just there. It's like bum pounded. Back from the break, Josh Ventez backstage with the U.S. champion, Shinsuke Nakamura. She asks how he plans on defeating WWE Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins at Survivor Series. someone he's never faced. Nakamura says Rollins stated on Raw that he wasn't thinking about Nakamura. By the way, they have faced off in Ring of Honor. That broke Nakamura because all he's thought of as and lived is Rollins, but Rollins isn't thinking about him. Nakamura says Rollins broke his heart. So at Survivor Series, he will break Rollins' face as Nakamura walks off. In the segment. Miz versus Rey Mysterio. Back from the ring, out comes Miz with a copy of the Marine 6 in his hand. Rey Mysterio's out next. Rey will be removed from Team SmackDown if he loses this one. Back and forth to start the match. We go to commercial after Miz drops Rey out on the floor. Back for the break. Rey is in control. Rey goes for the top and hits a seated senton for a 2 count. Rey keeps control and kicks Miz in the face for another pin attempt. Miz counters and spikes Rey with a big DDT for a close 2 count. Miz keeps control and hits a sit-down powerbomb for another 2 count. Miz charges for another boot to the face, but Rey avoids it. They tangle and Miz catches Rey, but Rey blocks the skull-crushing finale. Rey drops Miz into the ropes and hits a 619. Rey goes back to the top, hits a frog splash, but Miz turns it around for a close 2 count. With his knees up, Rey immediately rolls back over and slides Miz into a pin for the win to secure his Survivor Series spot. After the match, Rey stands tall as his music hits. We go to replays. Until Randy Orton hits the ring out of nowhere, but Rey avoids the sneak attack. Orton drops Miz with an RKO instead. Rey retreats as Orton stares him down from the ring. We see security standing backstage in case of the Raw roster trying to invade them to get their backfire. We see Becky Lynch backstage talking to a staffer, and she's sporting a big black eye. She wants to speak to the crowd tonight. Back to commercial. Back for the break. SmackDown General Manager Paige is out in the ring with a microphone. Paige welcomes us, the ladies of SmackDown, to join her in the ring. Out comes Charlotte Flair first. Lana then introduced. Carmella was out next, followed by the Iconics together. Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. Sonya Deville was out next, followed by Mandy Rose, Asuka, and Naomi. Paige says SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch suffered an injury last night battling for Raw, and now she's unable to compete. Fans boo. Paige says Becky is going to come out to handpick her replacement to face Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series. Paige introduces Becky, and out she comes to a pop. Of course, still partially heel coming to the ring. Becky hits the ring, and the fans start cheering her name. She thanks them. Becky says she's angry as hell. She took a good beating last night, but that's never stopped her before. Unfortunately, the medical team will not clear her to fight on Sunday. Fans boo. Becky says she's been angrily knocking on doors all night long, hoping someone will let her fight, but she's ran out of time. Becky says when they invaded Raw, she got a taste of blood when she beat the hell out of half of the locker room. Becky says she had Rousey screaming in pain in her armbar, but that was just a taste of what she was going to do at Survivor Series. Becky says she could still kick Ronda's butt with a concussion and a mouthful of blood. Fans chant Becky's name again. She's sorry she can't finish what she started, yet Becky says Ronda is the luckiest B-word on the planet, not the baddest. Becky says that she has to pick her replacement now. Someone she knows can get the job done. She sizes up others in the ring. Iconics first, then Flair, then Deville, then Naomi, then Lana, then Asuka. As Asuka said, pick me, pick me, pick me. And then Mandy Rose, and then Carmella last. Walks back to Flair and tells her to make Rousey tap out the way she was going to make her tap out. They shake hands and then hug. Fan chant for Becky again as she drops the mic and walks out of the ring. Others also hug Flair. Becky leads with the title as her music hits, raising it in the air while backing up the ramp. Flair steps in front of the others in the ring as Becky stares back at the ring. Back for the break, Charlotte Caruso saw Charlotte backstage for some comments on what just happened. Flair says she has spent her career fighting with and against Becky, but she will fight for her on Sunday. Flair says it's going to be her honor at Survivor Series when the Queen beats Ronda Rousey and proves SmackDown is the superior brand. And that can be found at that link. Big Show at the Bar versus the New Day. We go to the ring. Out first comes Big Show and SmackDown champions, The Bar, Cesaro, and Sheamus. New Day was out next. Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods. And can be found in this link. Action. Sheamus and Kofi start things off. Back and forth between the two. Kofi drops Sheamus and tags in Woods for some double teaming. Woods does a big elbow drop and then tags in Big E. Big E and Woods double team Sheamus. Sheamus kicks out at 2 before or after a Big E splash. Fan chant for New Day as Sheamus turns around on Woods and tags in Cesaro. Cesaro runs into a boot but catches the honor roll. And Cesaro rams Woods back into the corner as Big Show tags in. Show levels Woods in the corner and hits him with a big chest chop. Show keeps up the corner attack on Woods. Show then levels Woods again and keeps control as we go to commercial. Back for the break, and Woods fights out of a hold by Sheamus. Cesaro tags in and kicks Kofi off the apron to prevent a tag. The Bar then double teams Woods with a backbreaker. Cesaro covers, but Big E breaks the pin. Show ends up launching Big E into the barrier at ringside. Woods rocks Sheamus and tries to get the tag, but Cesaro tags in Sheamus and they double team him again. Sheamus takes Woods to the top, but Woods kicks him to the mat. Woods with a missile drop kick. Fans rally for Woods as Kofi waits for the tag. Kofi tags in and unloads on Cesaro, also knocking Sheamus off the apron. Kofi gets caught and Cesaro nails an uppercut in the corner. Cesaro runs into a boot in the corner. Kofi goes to the top for a crossbody, but Sheamus breaks up the pin at 2. Big E gets into the apron, but Sheamus hits a brogue kick to knock him off the apron. Show takes Woods out from making the save and sends him into the announce table. Kofi hits Trouble in Paradise, and Cesaro rolls him up for a 2 count. Kofi with the SOS on Cesaro for another close 2 count. Cesaro catches Trouble in Paradise and slingshots him, but Kofi jumps to the top, and Kofi counters and leaps off the top, but Big Show tags in and hits a knockout punch, weapons of mass destruction, and it covers Kofi for the pinfall. After the match, Show Bar stands tall as Big Show's music hits. We see security standing guard backstage. The Usos approach several Blue Brand tag teams and hype them up for the match on Sunday, and that can be found at this link. They give t-shirts to the Colognes, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, and Sanity. 3 members of Sanity. These teams will join the Usos and the New Day at Survivor Series. Blue Brand tag teams get on the page and are all about unity for Sunday. We get another look back at the earlier brawl between Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. The match is still to come. Go back to commercial. Back for the break. Announcers go over the Survivor Series card. WWE title match. Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. Action can be found at this link. We go to the ring. Out comes Daniel Bryan for tonight's main event, with major Survivor Series implications. WWE Champion AJ Styles is out next. We get formal ring introduction from Greg Hamilton. The bell rings. The Styles immediately rams Bryan back into the corner with shoulder thrust. Bryan turns it around with a yes kicks in the corner. AJ turns it around and ends up dumping Bryan over the top to the floor as he charged. AJ springboards in to the floor. Springboards to the floor with a big forearm to the face. We go to commercial with AJ on top. Back for the break. Bryan works AJ over with strikes. AJ turns it around and takes Bryan down near the corner. Focusing on the leg, AJ kicks and yanks at the leg. Bryan with a shot to the face. More back and forth until Bryan sends AJ over the top. Rope to the floor. Bryan follows and sends AJ shoulder first into the steel ring post a few times. Bryan focuses on the left arm. Bryan with more offense and another 2 count in the middle of the ring. AJ tries to fight out of an arm hold as he gets to his feet. They trade strikes in the middle of the ring. AJ with a back fist and then a big running shot in the corner. They run the ropes and collide in the middle of the ring. Double cross body. They both are down, and we go back to commercial. Back from the break, Bryan hits a quarter drop kick. Bryan takes AJ to the top and hits a Hurricane Rana for a 2 count. Bryan gets back to the top, but AJ rocks him and climbs up. Bryan fights him off, and he falls to the mat. AJ with a Pele kick from the mat. Styles climbs back up, but Bryan slides under and rocks him. Bryan turns AJ upside down in the corner with a tree of woe and delivers the Borgasm kicks. There's Bryan with a basement drop kick. Bryan climbs up and hits a super belly to back suplex. AJ kicks out at 2. They tangle more in the ring. Styles goes for Styles Clash, but it's blocked. Bryan uppercuts AJ in the corner. More back and forth. Action with AJ with a victory roll for a 2 count. AJ then drops Bryan with a Pele kick. AJ springboards in with a 450, but Bryan gets his knees up. Bryan applies the orgasm lock, but AJ is close to the bottom rope. AJ gets to the bottom rope to break the hold. Bryan calls for the orgasm chant with a yes, yes, yes. Remember, Team Hell No? No, no, no. There you go. Chant now as AJ gets up. Yes, no, I call it the orgasm. Bryan charges in with a running knee, but AJ drop kicks the leg out. AJ applies the calf crusher. Bryan rolls through and applies the armbar. Bryan goes into the orgasm lock in the middle of the ring. AJ gets out of that and slingshots Bryan face first in the turnbuckle. More back and forth action as AJ goes for the phenomenal forearm, but the referee gets hit and he goes down. Ref bump. Classic in a championship match. Bryan ends up dropping AJ with a low blow. Referee doesn't see it, and Bryan acts like it was an accident. Bryan gets a crazed look in his eye. Some fans boo. He waits for AJ to get up. Bryan nails a running knee and covers for the pinfall to win the title. After the match, Bryan stands tall with the title and has a bit of a sinister look on his face. Bryan takes the title and looks at it as the referee checks on AJ. Bryan walks over and kicks AJ in the head to lay him out again. Bryan taunts away on AJ with his arm now and his arm. Bryan laughs and has snapped. As the boos continue, Bryan goes back to stomping away on AJ. Bryan just stares at the title again as the boos pick up from the crowd again. SmackDown goes off the air with Bryan looking over at AJ while he's laid out. Then we go to the Mixed Match Challenge results. The WWE announced that the winners of this Mixed Match Challenge Season 2 will receive the 30th entry in both men's and women's Royal Rumble matches in January 2019. And they will receive an all-expense paid vacation anywhere in the world. The final will take place at TLC on December 16th. Mixed Match Challenge pre-show hosts Kayla Braxton and Mick Joseph will go over the big news in this new backstage video at this link. Braun Strowman and Ember Moon versus Bobby Lashley and Mickie James. Action can be found at this link. Ember and Mickie face off first while Strowman gets the crowd pumped. Back and forth action as Ember looks for a backside. James turns it into an inaudible stretch. Backstage, Paige talked to Charlotte and said Styles isn't in the right frame of mind for tonight's match. So Charlotte will get a new partner. Back in the ring, double clotheslines take down both women. Strowman ends up tagging in, and he has a face-off with Strowman. Strowman yells a bit and ends up shoving Lashley back in the corner. More yelling as Lashley shoves Strowman into the corner. And that actually can be found in this link. And comments from TDE Wrestling at Total Divas Steps at WWE Ember Moon rises with the eclipse. And at this link, at WWE comments, if you ain't first, you're last. Mickie and Bobby, hashtag WWE MMC, at Fight Bobby, at Mickie James. At WWE again, he's got more important things to worry about than whether he has a shirt on. You said it, at Michael Cole, hashtag WWE MMC, at Braun Strowman, at It's Leo Rush, at Fight Bobby, at Mickie James, at WWE Ember Moon. And at this link. The collide in the middle of the ring. Neither of them go down. Lashley with a kick to the midsection. Stuns the big man. Strowman with a big kick that drops Lashley. Rush with a distraction. Lashley takes advantage and tries for a suplex. But Lashley is the one who goes up and down. Ember chases after Rush. But Mickie lands a drop kick from the apron. Strowman chases Rush. Takes out Lashley. Back in the ring. Ember recovers and hits the Eclipse for the pinfall victory. At WWE says, you want some of this? At Braun Strowman. Say no at Fight Bobby. Hashtag WWEMMC. And at that link. Winners of the match, Braun Strowman and Ember Moon by pinfall. Winners of this year's Mixed Match Challenge will get the 30th spot in this year's Men and Women's Royal Rumble. Next week, got they advertised Natalya and Bobby Roode versus Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox. Could they get on the board with one win? Wait till next week. Stay tuned. Same weekly time. Backstage, Rude and Natalia talk about how things haven't worked out with them so far, but next week they will get their first win. Backstage, Alicia and Jinder argue about who will be the captain next week and get their first win. Jeff Hardy will be replacing AJ Styles in tonight's Smack Challenge. At WWE, North Carolina represent at Miss Charlotte. WWE hashtag WWE MMC partner is none other than at Jeff Hardy brand. And at this link, Charlotte and Jeff versus Miz and Asuka. And your action can be found in this link. TDE Wrestling at Total Divas Tips. Brother Nero, I knew you come. Team with Charlotte. I'll get to that link. Miz and Jeff get things started off with Miz taunting his opponent with a bit with some delete chants. Hardy sends a Miz from the turnbuckle to turnbuckle. Kick, tries to twist of fate. Miz backs away. Asuka wants to in against Charlotte. The two battle for offense. They trade wrist locks. Charlotte takes Asuka down. But Asuka looks for an Asuka lock early on. Charlotte with an arm drag. Asuka with one of her own. They end up with a double drop kicks. Leg kick by Asuka. Charlotte ends up on the apron. Miz charges her and gets a big boot. Asuka with a hip attack, sending Charlotte to the floor. Asuka follows and tosses Charlotte back in the ring. Asuka with a low kick. Nope. Charlotte with a pin for a 2 count. And that actually can be found in that link. WWE says it. At WWE MSC, at WWE Asuka, at Mike the Miz, at Jeff Hardy Brand, at Miss Charlotte WWE. At WWE comments again, the world famous It Kicks in stereo. Can be found in that link. Hardy is tagged in, and Miz gets dropped almost immediately. Hardy with a side rush and leg sweep, pin for a 2 count. Looks for a twist of fate again, nope. Hits a whisper and win, no. Covers for a 2 count. Hardy with enziguri, sending Miz to the corner. Looks for another kick. Miz counters, tries for a skull crushing finale. Covers for a 2 count. Miz with a DDT, pin, and Charlotte breaks things up. Asuka's in, boot to the face, dumps Charlotte out of the ring. Miz with a swing, and miss on Hardy. Almost hits Asuka in the melee. Miz with a roll up. Asuka nails Hardy, but he's able to still kick out. Miz looks for his finisher. Now Asuka tags in, spinning heel kick to Charlotte. Dual it kicks. Miz tries for the last one, misses. Twist of fate hits. Charlotte with a spear, figure 8 in the middle of the ring, and Asuka taps out. This is the first time Miz and Asuka have lost in the Mixed Match Challenge. And that's from last year as well. At WWE, at Miss Charlotte, WWE is always ready. Hashtag WWE MMC, at WWE Asuka, at Mike the Miz, at this link. So your winners of the match, Jeff Hardy and Charlotte by submission. Next week, matches advertised Carmella and R-Truth versus Lana Rusev, also Natalia and Bobby Roode versus Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox. So your standings from SmackDown: AJ Styles and Charlotte 4-0, Miz and Asuka 3-1, Jimmy Uso and Naomi 2-2, R-Truth and Carmella 0-3, Rusev and Lana 0-3, Raw brand Braun Strowman and Ember Moon 4-0, Bobby Lashley and Mickie James 3-1, Finn Balor and Bayley 2-2, Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox 0-3, Bobby Roode and Natalia 0-3. And that concludes my results, spoilers, for your Mixed Match Challenge WWE 205 Live and SmackDown. Thanks again. Peace out. See you on be. If you don't know, just call me, brothers and sisters. Woo yeah!